You were not placed on this earth by accident. There is a purpose stitched into your very soul, a fire planted deep inside you before you ever took your first breath. You were made for more than what the world says about you, more than the labels people slap on you, more than the boxes they try to fit you in. You are not defined by your past, by your failures, by the opinions of others, or by the limitations they try to put on your life. You are defined by the one who made you, and he didn't make you ordinary, he made you original. There is something in you that hasn't even been tapped yet, something powerful, something sacred. The gifts, the dreams, the drive, it's all there waiting for you to believe in it. But too many people settle, they shrink back. They get caught up comparing, chasing approval, trying to please everyone around them while slowly forgetting who they really are. But hear me, you weren't born to be a copy. You weren't created to blend into the crowd. You were made to rise, to stand out, to shine with a light that only you can carry. Life will try to convince you that you're too late, too broken, too small. But that's a lie from the pit of fear. You're not too late, you're right on time. You're not too broken, you're being rebuilt. And you are not small, you are carrying greatness within you. That quiet idea in your heart. That vision that won't let you sleep at night. It's not random, it's revelation. It's a glimpse of the more you were made for. Stop waiting for permission to live fully. Stop holding your breath, waiting for someone to validate you. You don't need applause to pursue purpose. You don't need a platform to start building. The only thing you need is to believe that what's inside you is worth developing. You were made for more than scrolling through other people's success. You were made to walk in your own. You were made to write your own story, to build your own path, and to shock the world not by trying to be someone else, but by finally becoming who you were always meant to be. So dig deep, show up, keep going. You don't have to prove it to anyone, just walk it out. The world may not see it yet, but when you focus, when you grow, when you rise, they'll be asking how you did it. And the answer will be simple. You stopped waiting and you started believing that you were made for more. Would you like me to expand the next point as well? Every day there's noise from the outside and noise from within. The world has a lot to say about who you should be, how you should live, what success should look like, and when you should arrive. Voices come from every direction, friends, family, critics, culture. Some mean well, some don't. But if you're not careful, you'll spend your life responding to noise instead of listening to truth. You can't live with power if you're always chasing approval. You can't walk in purpose if you're distracted by comparison. The more you let the world speak louder than your spirit, the more you lose touch with who you really are. Everyone has an opinion about your life, but not everyone is qualified to guide it. People will talk. They'll doubt. They'll judge. They'll say you're too much or not enough. But don't let their volume drown out your vision. There comes a time when you have to go quiet, not because you've given up, but because you're tuning in. Because in the stillness, that's where clarity lies. That's where peace flows. That's where you start hearing the voice that actually matters, the one whispering to your heart, keep going. You're doing better than you think. This is the way. Walk in it. Growth doesn't need a crowd. Destiny doesn't require noise. Sometimes the most powerful moments of your life will happen when no one is watching, when no one understands, when no one claps. And that's okay, because focus is forged in silence. Breakthrough is born in quiet seasons. You're not being overlooked, you're being developed. When you stop needing noise, you start building something real. And the truth is, not everyone is meant to understand you. You're not here to fit into their small ideas of who you should be. You're here to become who you were created to be. And becoming takes silence. It takes separation. It takes discipline to turn down the volume of distraction and tune into the sound of direction. So let them talk, let them wonder, let them doubt. You don't owe explanations when you're walking in alignment. You don't have to shout to prove your power. You don't need to post every move to make it real. Just focus, just build, just become. And when the time is right, your life will speak so loudly without a word that the same people who once questioned you won't be able to ignore you. You're not here to echo the noise. You're here to be the signal, the clarity, the light in the confusion. And the more you silence the world's chaos, the more you'll hear the call inside you that's been waiting to rise. I want to keep going with the third point. Private growth leads to public impact. Everybody wants to be seen. We want the recognition, the applause, the open doors. And there's nothing wrong with being acknowledged, but the problem comes when we chase visibility without doing the invisible work. What people often admire in public is the result of what was cultivated in private. The strength, the wisdom, the excellence, the resilience, it doesn't just appear overnight. It's built in the quiet places where no one is watching, where no one is cheering, where it's just you, your effort, your discipline, and your God. We live in a time where everything is about the highlight reel: post the win, show the grind, prove the progress. But real power isn't proven on a screen. It's proven in the moments no one sees. When you choose to keep going when it's not easy. When you pray even when you don't feel anything. When you show up, not for validation, but because you're committed to the process. That's where the real growth happens, and that's the growth that lasts. Too many people want the stage, but avoid the preparation. They want the fruit without tending to the root, but what's rushed will never be rooted. And what's not rooted can't survive the storms. That's why private growth matters. That's why those quiet seasons where you feel hidden, unnoticed, overlooked are actually sacred, because that's where your character is formed. That's where your endurance is tested. That's where your faith is refined. Let them underestimate you. Let them sleep on your potential. Let them talk about how they don't see anything happening in your life. They don't need to. Growth happens underground before it ever breaks the surface. And when it finally does, it shocks everybody because they weren't ready for what you were building when no one was paying attention. That's how legacy is built. That's how impact is made, not by chasing the spotlight, but by mastering the small things. Showing up when no one claps. Doing it right when shortcuts look easier. Praying when you don't feel strong. Forgiving when it's hard. Disciplining your mind, your heart, your habits. All of that in private, it sets the stage for something powerful in public. So don't rush the process. Don't despise the season of being hidden. Every great thing begins in secret. Seeds grow in the soil long before they break through. And if you stay faithful in the unseen, the day will come when the doors open and people wonder how you got there so strong, so wise, so steady. They won't realize the nights you cried, the mornings you fought, the decisions you made when it was just you and your calling. But you'll know, and you'll smile. Because the public impact came from the private growth no one saw but heaven did. And that's what really counts. Want me to expand the next point? Let the fire refine you, not burn you. Life will test you. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. You will walk through fire's moments that feel too hot, too heavy, too hard. There will be seasons where the pressure is so intense you question everything, your strength, your purpose, even your future. But the fire isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to develop you. It's not here to burn you down. It's here to burn off what you no longer need. Fire has a way of revealing what's real. When you walk through trials, the fake falls away. The distractions melt. The pride crumbles. And what's left is what's pure, what's solid, what's unshakable. You learn who you really are in the fire. You learn what you really believe. When everything you lean on gets stripped away, that's when your true foundation gets tested. And if that foundation is built on purpose, on faith, on vision, then the fire won't consume you. It'll clarify you. You see, people often want promotion, but they run from pressure. They want elevation, but not the heat that comes with it. But there is no growth without fire. There is no anointing without crushing. There is no strength without struggle. The fire doesn't come to curse you, it comes to prepare you. Because what you're being shaped for requires a stronger version of you. A wiser version. A deeper, more disciplined version. The fire makes sure that when the blessing comes, you can carry it. When the opportunity shows up, you won't fumble it. When the spotlight shines, you won't fall apart under its weight. Some of the greatest people you admire didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they stayed standing when the fire came. They kept their character intact when they could have compromised. They chose to grow when it would have been easier to give up. That's what makes the difference, not the absence of pain, but the ability to let pain purify you instead of poison you. And listen, sometimes the fire is not around you, but inside you. The fire of frustration, of heartbreak, of waiting. But even that fire can work for your good. If you give it to God, if you stay surrendered, He'll take what was meant to harm you and use it to shape you. The same fire that burns others out can be the one that lights your next chapter if you let it refine you. So don't curse the fire. Learn from it. Let it teach you. Let it mold you. Let it push you deeper into your purpose. You're not going to come out of this the same, and that's the point. You're coming out stronger, wiser, sharper, cleaner. And when you step out of the flames, the world won't recognize you. They'll see the glow. They'll feel the power. And they'll wonder how you did it. You'll smile because you'll know the fire didn't burn you, it built you. Want me to keep going with the next point? Discipline is the bridge to destiny. Everyone wants the reward, but few want the routine. We dream of the destination, but often despise the daily steps required to get there. That's where discipline comes in. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't beg for attention, but it is the bridge, the only bridge between where you are and where you're called to be. Without it, dreams stay dreams. With it, dreams become legacy. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. It's doing the right thing when no one's watching. It's choosing purpose over pleasure, growth over comfort, and long-term gain over short-term gratification. It's waking up early to build something no one else can see yet. It's staying consistent when the results are slow. It's saying no to what's easy so you can say yes to what's eternal. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you lack discipline, your potential will stay locked inside you. Discipline is what separates the talkers from the walkers. It's what separates the people who start fast and fade from the ones who finish strong. Talent may open the door, but discipline is what keeps you in the room. It's what builds the habits that hold up your purpose when pressure comes. Because pressure will come. Distraction will come, temptation will come. And when it does, it won't be your dreams that carry you, it'll be your discipline. Discipline is about alignment. It's about living in agreement with who you say you want to be. You say you want peace, but do you have the discipline to guard your mind? You say you want success, but do you have the discipline to grind when it's inconvenient? You say you want purpose, but do you have the discipline to shut out the noise and keep your focus sharp? Your actions will always preach louder than your intentions. And the thing about discipline is that it's not a one-time choice, it's a daily decision. It's built 1 hour at a time, one habit at a time, one choice at a time. It costs you something now, but it pays you back later in ways that ease never could. Most people avoid discipline because it feels like restriction, but in truth, it's the only path to real freedom. When you're disciplined, you're not controlled by your impulses, your emotions, or the opinions of others. You're led by vision. You're driven by purpose. You're anchored in something deeper than how you feel on any given day. Discipline doesn't always look impressive from the outside. It looks like sacrifice, like repetition, like quiet decisions made in faith, but over time it creates results that can't be denied. The kind of results that shock people not because you got lucky, but because you stayed locked in when others gave up, because you trained when no one saw, because you kept walking across the bridge long after others turned back, because you understood that destiny is not found in the rush. It's revealed in the rhythm, in the grind, in the daily surrender to something greater than comfort. You don't have to announce every move. You don't have to prove your worth with words. When you stay focused on your lane, your life will begin to speak louder than anything you could ever post, say, or explain. Let your progress preach. Let the way you carry yourself tell the story. Let the transformation happening inside you be the message. There's something powerful about quiet consistency, about rising early, doing the work, keeping your head down, and showing up day after day, especially when no one claps for it, especially when no one even notices, because eventually they will notice. They'll see the strength you carry. They'll feel the difference in your energy. They'll wonder when you leveled up and how you got so focused, so grounded, so locked in. But you won't need to explain. You won't need to prove. The growth will speak for itself. People may have counted you out. They may have labeled you, underestimated you, or tried to define you by who you were. But progress is the best response. Elevation is the best rebuttal. You don't need revenge. You don't need to throw shade. You don't even need to address the criticism. Let your progress do the talking. Let your focus speak volumes. Because when someone sees the fruit, they won't question the root. And if they do, it won't matter because you didn't build this for validation. You built it from vision. And the truth is, most of the people who are watching your life aren't looking to cheer you on. Some are watching just to see if you fail. Some are waiting for proof that you're not serious, that you're not strong enough to follow through. But the longer you stay consistent, the more you break that narrative. The more you show not tell the world that you're not who you used to be. That you're not stuck, not scared, not stagnant, that you're becoming something rare, something solid, something unshakable. You don't have to rush to be seen. You don't have to force your voice into spaces that aren't ready for it. Just keep working, keep growing, keep healing, keep building. Your peace will say more than your pride ever could. Your discipline will silence doubts that your words never could. Your transformation will speak to things that your explanations would only complicate. When you let your progress preach, you shift from needing attention to becoming unstoppable. So now you know this journey isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were always right to believe. right to keep going, right to focus, right to block out the noise and stay locked in on the vision planted deep inside you. You were never created to compete. You were created to complete something divine. And when you stop trying to impress the world and start becoming who you are called to be, everything changes. Let them doubt. Let them overlook you. Let them talk. Because when you focus on yourself, when you grow in silence, when you rise through the fire, when you walk with discipline and let your progress do the preaching, you won't have to say a word. Your life will be the mic drop. Your glow will be undeniable. And the same people who never saw it coming will be left in awe not by your noise, but by your becoming. Shock them not by chasing attention, but by owning your transformation. Shock them not by speaking louder, but by living bolder. The greatest flex is not what you post. It's who you become. Focus on yourself and shock everyone.